Excellent. Thank you so much, Jean, for that. And thank you so much to our presenters who were very fascinating in their stories, which were both personal and so inspiring and professional in the way they delivered it. I am very sure, and I echo Jean, that our girls at Iba Girls School would absolutely be floored and inspired, totally inspired by the diversity of the topic and of the presentations and the career paths that have been presented to them by these inspiring South Sudanese women. So South Sudan does have talent. Let's just repeat that South Sudan does have talent in its women, and we need to work hard to support that talent to bring it to the forefront. So we only have very few minutes left to go on to the discussion session, which I will try to keep very brief. And I'd like to call on some of the ladies to give us some very brief, short answers to discussions. The chat function is operational. If you want to put any question or comment to the ladies, or if you like to speak directly to them, I ask that you put your hand up and we will try to get to you. But as I mentioned, we have very little time, so we're going to get straight into it. And I would like to start first with the younger speakers we've had today. That's Tammy, and I'm not discriminating and saying others are old, but I'd like to have Tammy and our wonderful Irene. So both of you have very diverse and very challenging different types of roles. Now in South Sudan, the advice generally is to go for the traditional, medicine, engineering, but obviously Irene, as a female, you're an engineer in a men's world. I can totally identify with that. My personal experience is that I was influenced also by my father and my elder brother. From the age of 3, I was introduced to the idea and concepts of engineering and innovation. And I think it's important that we note the importance of men as agents of change and as drivers and supporters of women in equality. So I encourage and I really appreciate all the supporters, and especially our male supporters who are encouraging our girls to be and to reach their goals in life. So Irene, I would like to ask you first of all, you did mention your grandfather being a great inspiration. Were there other people in your life who were also inspiring and helping you to deliver to reach your decision to study engineering?
Thank you, Pam, for that question. Yeah, so unfortunately, there was only my grandfather who inspired my engineering journey. But of course, I won't forget my mother's support. She always believed that I could do it. She believed in me, and that in itself was also inspiring. And just to have that support from her, just believing that I could do it, and I could do it even better than her own father, who is my grandfather, that gave me the energy to continue on. So yeah, it was just my grandfather and my mother.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so very much. I would also just like to go to, I think Cecilia's got a question.
So first of all, great to hear from all the inspirational women. Thank you very much for your presentations. When career aspirations are being discussed with the IBA students, how are the opportunities to work in South Sudan or to work abroad approached? And how is this influenced by cultural norms and expectations?
It might be that Julia, as a trustee, might be the best person on that.
Well, we only have students up to S2 at the moment. So formal careers education is hoping to start as the students move through the secondary school. But across the whole of the primary and secondary school, there is a culture of encouraging the girls to do their absolute best and for them to become confident in themselves right from the very start when they come in to primary 4. And that culture is developed through debating, and there's a weekly debating club, which on a Friday afternoon they have a topic, and there's a rota of girls who present their ideas, and that works really well in giving the girls increased confidence in their own ability. The assemblies that they have each day also remind the girls of the privileged position they're in, and also their responsibility for their careers in the future.
Thank you so much for that answer. And I'm going to go straight on to Tammy now. Tammy, I'd just like to ask you, you talked about the diversity of skills that you use in your marketing and communications. And obviously you've talked a little bit about writing and the importance of writing skills and how that was one of your favorite things in your role. What advice would you give to our girls at IBA Girls School who perhaps may not understand the different directions they can approach a career like yours, because there are multiple ways perhaps you can get to that same point? So you talk about data science, and you have the marketing, and then you have the communication skills. What advice would you give our girls?
Do you know, I think the advice that I would give is to try and think as broadly as possible and not worry too much about kind of honing in or specializing too soon, especially when you're still kind of school age. There are so many skills that are transferable across a number of careers. So, you know, if you do like sciences, you're very analytic, you like kind of data and things like that. Yes, that's great for a science career, but it's also so great for so many other job roles as well. And it's really about understanding that there are tons of kind of capabilities and knowledge and skills and talents that are applicable for such a wide stream. So when you kind of get to the position where you're thinking about your career and what you'd like to start in, to not feel limited, not to impose limits on yourself. And there's nothing to say that you have to do kind of one job forever either. You know, even if you do start in a particular area and then something else piques your interest, the possibilities are really endless. So don't be afraid to kind of think big. There's endless possibilities of things that you can do at any time throughout your career.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Tammy. It's very important that our girls see that there are diverse career options outside of, you know, government, because what they see is everyone working in the public sector, and we want them to see that they can actually work in other fields. But again, talking of diversity and versatility in career options, we've heard from Dr. Wada, who was or is has a PhD in agriculture and is now a public servant and a politician. So Dr. Wada, some of our girls are interested in doing a PhD. What advice would you give them? What was the most challenging thing about your PhD?
Actually, when I started my PhD, by then I did my PhD started 2001 and finished it 2003. So by then, many South Sudanese young ladies, I was married by then and had my firstborn. So it was a little bit not usual, but because me, I really like education, as I said in the first, my first talk, that I've been inspired by my dad, my late dad, because he worked in Khartoum University as an accountant. So most of the time he's in a very educative environment. And my mom is a teacher also. She's now a retired teacher. So it wasn't, it was something which I aspired to. And because I've been told over and over by them that I can do anything which I really want, but it was not easy. I was having my firstborn. And when I started the first semester of my PhD, I got pregnant with the secondborn. but because I really liked education, I knew that I can do anything in Jesus Christ who strengthened me. I'm a believer. So I really continued like that. And my husband was so supportive. That's why I told the girls earlier on that they really should get somebody who support them, not to pull them down, but support them to achieve their dreams. And because we also the two of us come from the same educational background. My husband did his PhD in farm machinery and power engineering. So it's hard work, determination, and never give up on your ambition or your dream, because when you have that dream, it's the thing which matters. But if you don't have dreams and you have everything available to you, you won't achieve anything. Yeah. And I really want them. I really want many of the South Sudanese to get their PhD, because I finished my PhD when I was, I think, 30 years or 29 years. And people thought that, oh, she's young to get a PhD. But I was in India, where some of my colleagues were 25, 26. So I didn't see that it's that unique or very weird achievement. I want now the young South Sudanese girls to continue their education, finish your undergraduate, then you go to your master, you go to your PhD, you're done.
Yeah, thank you, Wada. And it's very important, obviously, apart from having talent and aspiration, to have the opportunity for support. And
yes.
And I think it's important that, you know, we are supporting these girls right now, but that we continue to support them to realize their full potential. And they do have incredible potential. And so finally, I just want to ask Harriet, you know, for our girls, some of them come from rural areas, and their parents or their immediate family members may not have had the opportunity to go to school. Where do you find, or where have you found the inspiration or the role model outside of your home? Who would you say was an inspiring person outside of your home? Because it's important that we have figures that we can look up to inspire us, and even if that is not immediately within our home environment.
Apart from the home, inspiring figures outside the home, I think in medicine, like, we had very few, but there were a lot of inspiring ladies who were like politicians who, like, you know, out there, and they're not afraid, they're meeting challenges. They sort of like give a lot of girls courage, like, you know, like, you can do what you can do. You know, if you want to do it, you can do it. And it doesn't matter, because these ladies meet challenges whereby, you know, they sometimes, you know, they're put down, but nevertheless, they rise above the challenge. So much inspired, you know, by our politicians especially.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I'd like to thank all our speakers. Unfortunately, we can't carry on with this discussion any further because of time constraints. However, as mentioned earlier, you know, we will seek an opportunity to bring you all together with our girls later on, and be able to connect more and hear more of your stories, which are incredibly inspiring, as I'm sure all our audience members would agree. And I think this has been a very wonderful event to showcase not only what South Sudan has in its women, but also the paths that could be open to our girls.